Hi, good morning everyone. Hey, good morning Eddie. I see you're already on the stream, wow. As you may have noticed in the title of today's stream, we are going to call Eddie live in about 30 minutes, so at 11 a.m. UK time. And we are going to talk about tech stack and building your tech team for your startup. So if you have any questions, let me know right now, so we can pass it on to Eddie. I do have, as usual, lots of questions planned for our guest today. But your questions also are super important and generally go first before mine. So if you have any specific questions for Eddie, please do add it on the chat right now. So we have 30 minutes ahead of us. I think we have plenty of time to get ready and yeah, to get set up for Eddie's stream. In the meantime, I think it will be really fun to play some video games because, well, that's kind of the thing of the channel, right? And also, I wanted to try out a few games for the future entrepreneurs playing games. So, as you may know, every 2 weeks, or about every 2 weeks, I host a live stream where I interview early stage founders on their journey, on their experience, the challenges they're facing, and we also play video games during the stream. So I have to find games that are easy, that are great and fun also, because we are going to play just for a short time. All the time it's like between 15 and 30 minutes, I would say. So it has to be fun and easy to understand, especially for people who don't play video game or people who haven't played for ages, which is quite often the case. Generally, founders that I have here on the stream, they are not necessarily gamers, or they haven't had the time to play games for a very long time. So it's always really key to find games that are really easy to get on. So if anyone has any question for Eddie or just want to say hi and chat, jump into the chat right now. I'm going to launch the the game in a minute. Today we are going to test a game that is called Mugsters. I think it's an indie game. I don't know much about this game. I haven't really dig too much further into it, but it seems to be quite fun, and I like the minimalistic aspect of it. I just noticed that the sub goal isn't up to date right here, or is it? Yes, is it? It is. So there is a sub goal right underneath my webcam right here. Check it out, and if you want to hear more from startup founders and ask your own question to my guest either in the coming days or also in 2020, check out the YouTube and the Twitch channel. I generally live stream on more channels than that, but I think YouTube and Twitch are the best way to keep in touch with the activity of the channel, and also that's the only place where you can find the previous videos, especially on YouTube. I don't think on Twitch you can find many. I think on Twitch you can find the last one, but on YouTube you can find all the previous discussion I had with the different founders I had on the stream. So check it out. Okay, so launching the game now. I tried it just a few minutes yesterday, and just to see if it works, and also not to have any bad surprises for the stream, but I haven't really played it much. So let me change the view. Yes. So remember, we are calling Eddie at 11, so in about 30 minutes. If you have questions for him about how to build the tech aspect of your startup, so from the tech stack to the tech team, any questions related also to open source. Eddie is really an advocate for open source. So if you have all those kind of questions, please feel free to just pop them on the chat, and I'll make sure to pass them on to Eddie. So we are in the game now. And of course my controller takes some time to get recognized. Don't know why. Let's give it a few minutes. Still nothing? Okay. Just going to relaunch my controller then. Yeah, we're fine now. So as I said, this game is called Muxter, and the idea, I think, is that the planet Earth has been kind of attacked, but also colonized by extraterrestrial people. And you have to save survivors and humans. And I think that's about it, but it's made in a really fun way. Okay, so I am this small character and it goes quite slow, but I like the minimalistic aspect of the game. I think it's quite fun. Let's start with the first level. I think I completed the first level, part of it, yesterday when I was trying the game. So basically there were a guy or a human in this kind of box here, and I just saved it, but I think I just need to complete this level so we can try a new level, and I have no idea what I'm doing. That's fine. Okay, we passed the island, so it's not really a real level that we can see, but I don't understand why I just can't try another level. I just want to try something so you can see the game and you can tell me what you think about it. Let's maybe try to go to the level 2 so we have a better idea. As a reminder, we're testing the game to see if it will be suitable for future entrepreneurs playing games. So it has to be easy to play, it has to be fun, and it has also to be short. We can have fun in a short time. So we have many elements here, and I have no idea what I can interact with. Okay, so this is moving the door over there. I don't know what this machine is, but I guess it might not be human, so I guess I have to destroy it. Let's see. Yep. But I don't see any achievements, so maybe I wasn't supposed to destroy it. Okay, there are some cars, so maybe I can just jump into a car to go faster. In terms of controls, it's for now it's quite easy to play. The cars, when you're driving a car, it's not necessarily very easy, but that's okay. It's not that hard either. I'm going to die. I'm dead. I have my objectives here, so I need to destroy 3 generators. Okay, I think I did one. I need to save 1 human and to collect 3 crystals. Okay, so I did everything I had to do around this. Let's see. Oh, there is a crystal over there. I have no idea how to get it. I can jump. So I guess we can just go around here and get it this way. Oh, there's also a generator there. So we have 1 crystal. Can I jump with this in my hands? Perfect. We can then destroy the generator. I'm really surprised how this game, how it is really simple to understand. Like, you don't have much information, you don't have lots of context either, but still it's still quite easy to understand what you have to do. Oh, it worked. I guess it worked. But even with really minimal information, you get it, and it is an indie game, so quite fun. I like it. I've tried many games for entrepreneurs playing games. Sometimes I try to find games that match my guests, what they're doing, and it's extremely difficult to do because depending on what people are working on, sometimes you try to find something related, a game that may be related in some way, but it's super challenging. I think Eddie, when Eddie came, it was quite some time ago now. I think it was around maybe May or April. We played a game that was really fun. We played a game called Nippon Marathon. And funnily, I had this game in mind for quite some time, but I didn't really want to play it with people I didn't know quite well, because I knew it was hard to navigate, and also it was a bit WTF, to be honest. So I didn't want to play it with anyone that wouldn't be in the same mood, and just to be sure. But it was very fun. Yeah, Eddie, did you like this game when we played? I think it was so cool. But then I don't know if I would play it with someone else, unless I know the person really well. Yeah, I think you were my second guest indeed. Second or third, I can't remember, but yeah. Very early days of the channel. I can't believe it's already been such a long time. I mean, I started, I think about May, but I think I started before that. Maybe March, April. It feels like ages ago. Yeah, I'm glad you liked the game. It's always tricky to play games with people. You never know if people are going to like it. If people like games at all. Sometimes people come and you don't really know, right? It's going to be a surprise. Perfect. Sorry if you can hear the alarm outside. I don't know if you can hear it. There is indeed something going on outside. I don't have what I need to do that. Okay, I need something to destroy the machine. Where am I going to get this? I like how the person you delivered is just following you and doing exactly what you're doing, but sometimes it gets stuck and you have to find them again. It happened to me last night when I was really briefly trying the game. And I like how they play with the perspective. There are many things that you can't really see unless you move the camera around. Oh no, what did I do? Oh, it worked, fine, okay. So I think now we may have completed, oh no, we still need one crystal to complete everything, but we're very close. Have you seen a crystal? Yep. Stupid me, I'm not listening to the sound of the game. I'm so used to play during the stream without the sound, because when I have guests we can't all have headphones, that I didn't even think about that. That's better now. As I said, the human that I helped is now stuck behind me. Oh, okay, just need to jump. Follow me. And I think now we almost completed this level. I just need to find the last crystal. Oh, I got it, just over there. So now we need to pilot the plane. I need to be careful with that. And I destroy it. No. Okay, where is the human I helped? Do I need to redo everything? The way you pilot the plane is a bit tricky. I'm not really good at it. I think it is inverted. I think the way you pilot it is you have the inverted controls, which is tricky. Okay, can I take those rocks? No, I only can take the black rocks. Oh, I still need to open this this part right here. So let's get another thing. Why do I hear some kind of countdown? Okay, right timing. Hi there. I don't know how to pronounce your pseudo. I'm sorry, but you have a question. MK X Ultra? Yeah, I think that's it. MK X Ultra. How are you today? What kind of question do you have? Aha. Thank you for your question. Well, unless you have a real question, I'm not going to answer that. But thanks anyway. Okay, I got the human. That's perfect. And now we can try to leave this island. So let's try to go there gently. Yeah. We managed to win this. Oh, I needed to collect again the crystals. That's interesting. I thought I didn't get that I needed to do it again since the generators are still ticked. So I already destroyed the generators. I didn't need to redo that, but I still needed to collect again the crystals. Interesting. Not sure why. Oh, now it's getting a bit harder. Bit more difficult here. There are some bad guys. I don't really see how they're an extraterrestrial being, but oh. Oh, one got with me in the water. How do I do that? Maybe this green thing, I have no idea what it is, but maybe it's a weapon. No. Okay, how do I escape this? Okay, so I am going faster than they do. Theoretically, it's not that... Okay, it's not that hard, but still. I don't know how to open the door. The other door, I don't see anything that can help me out here. No barrels, nothing that explodes. So what would happen here? Oh, okay, right here. Oh, I didn't get that I could actually fight with them. Oh, that makes things a bit easier now. So just to remind everyone, at 11 UK time, so in about 10 minutes, we are going to call Eddie, my friend Eddie Jaoude, who is actually right now on the chat. We are going to call him to discuss the tech aspect of building your startup, so from building your tech stack to building your tech team. I have many questions planned, but if you have any question for him, please feel free to add them on the chat right now so I can just pass them on. That's going to be quite fun. I already had Eddie on the stream a few months ago, and I know that he has a lot to talk about, and also he has his own channel that is super interesting. So if you're into the technical aspect, if you want to learn more about it, if you want to learn more about open source or hackathons, or see what's going on inside some tech events, check out his channel. I think I will put it on the chat as soon as we launch the call with Eddie. Okay, MK Ultra, you're kind of bothering me now, so I'm going to remove you from the chat right now. Where am I? Okay, I already have a moderator that remove and timeouts. Thank you so much, Metamurai. Yeah, perfect. Eddie says he's always talking too much. Well, I think that's good, you know. I think it's better than you doing all the talking and you have a lot to share, rather than when you interview people and they're a bit short on answers. So I think that's great. And you have so much experience and so many things to talk about. That's fantastic. I have no idea what just happened in the game. I was looking for a rock to destroy this container and save the human, but apparently it happened by itself. So I started changing my application in the game. Fine. Oh, there is a gem right here. Perfect. So I know that I need to destroy this thing. Is there anything behind this wall? Okay, I'm thinking that this game will be really cool over a future live stream in 2020 with some guests. What do you think? It's easy. I don't know how it's like when you're 2 players, but the first levels are quite nice. We've been playing for a few minutes now, and it's not too hard. It's quite fun. Controls are easy to understand. Sounds good for me. I don't think one of my guests will be working on anything related to the game, but fine. We don't always have to find something exactly related to what they're doing. So let's save the human. Yeah. Okay, we haven't done all the different steps here, but that's okay. It gives us an idea of the different islands. Okay, I just killed 2 extraterrestrial beings, and there is blood everywhere. Oh no, I'm going to get stuck in this side. Oh no, okay, there's something. Perfect. Oh. That was close. I hear some kind of drops, like if there were a countdown, but I don't see any countdown, so I don't know if I should take that in consideration or not at all. Oh, and I'm wondering, my screen got a bit darker and a bit red, and I'm thinking maybe when you're hurt, if you're a bit hurt, you have your screen turning red. That could be the explanation here. That's good to know, good indication. Okay, there is a lot to do in this island. We are not going to have the time to do everything before calling AD. So I think that's a wrap for the game. I think it was really nice, and I'm going definitely to add it to my list of games to play on the stream. if you know any game that could be also fun to play with my future guest, let me know. It's always something I'm looking for. Generally, I do it just the day before or a few days before, but it's quite often last minute. Okay, perfect. So let's get ready. We have a few people on the stream right now, so hi and welcome to all of you. As I said, we are going to call Eddie at 11, so if you have any questions for Eddie, just add them on the chat right now. I'm just going to prepare a bit my screens and everything, and in a few minutes, less than 5 minutes, we are going to ring him. Also, I'm going to add the Eddie channels, his YouTube channel, to the chat, so you all have access to it. It's really cool. He's publishing lots of videos regularly, so that's very nice. Yep, that's his channel here. I know, I want the one with the full name though. Yeah, I think I have it right here. Yes, so on the chat, I am adding Eddie's channel. Check it out if you haven't already. Yep. And be sure to ask some last minute questions if you have any. Because I do have, as usual, lots of questions. But it's always good to be sure that we are also asking the question that you are wondering. Wondering about? Yeah, maybe you are wondering about. Okay. Oops, sorry for that. I think I bumped into the webcam. Hup. Let's get started. I see that Eddie is already getting ready on the call too, so I'm going to change the view really soon, but yeah.
Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yes, I can hear you, Eddie. And I think actually everyone can hear you. No, that's fine, that's okay. Up, that's fixed. No one can hear you now. You can do your last minute test, that's fine. And you have the time to grab some tea, some hot coffee or something, if you want. I know it's the morning. I know that Eddie, you are not in the UK right now, so it might not be the same time. Might be a slight time difference. I think maybe an hour. Apparently that's exactly the same, so that's perfect. Okay, so I'm going to switch view in a minute. Just want to say thank you for your follow to MK X Ultra. You have been timed out from the channel, but still thank you for your follow if you're still around. Okay, so let's switch webcam and then get you on the stream. Are you ready, Eddie?
Yes, let's do it.
Perfect. Here we are. You are live, Eddie. So hi everyone. If anyone is joining just right now, we are right now in a video call with Eddie Jaoude. Eddie is an open source advocate, a consultant, someone who is super active in the tech community in the UK, but also outside of the UK. He has his own YouTube channel where he shares lots of things about his own journey. And he's also the founder of Dashboard Hub. We already had Eddie on the stream quite some time ago, and I'm super happy to have you back today to talk more about how to build tech stack and tech team for startups.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited, all the way from Portugal. So glad the
You.
internet is good and everything's working well. And I'm excited to have this discussion with you and see what questions you have and your audience has. Because I remember last time we had some really good questions as well. But this time we're doing it remotely. So fingers crossed.
Yes.
Internet all still works good and isn't too laggy.
Yeah, I think it's working fine for now, but on the chat, let us know if you have any issue with the sound, if it's a bit low, a bit high, whatever is the best for you, just let us know. So, Eddie, to get started, can you just remind us a bit what you've been up to and what you're working on right now? I did a short intro of what you're doing, but I'm sure I'm missing a lot of things. So, what are you up to right now?
Quite a few things, so I'll probably miss quite a few as well. So I have my as a consultant, I have my clients, and I might do those between 1 and 5 days a week, depending on the time of the project, time of the year. But I also have my startup as well, where I have 3 employees, and my startup is 100% open source, as you mentioned. Thank you very much for the awesome intro. Dashboard Hub. It's to monitor your pipelines when you're delivering a software project. There's a lot of communication that goes on that I think is unnecessary. Has this been deployed to development? Has this been deployed to test, production, etc., and so forth? So Dashboard Hub doesn't go to replace any of your existing tooling, be it GitHub, Circle CI, Travis CI, etc. But it's supposed to sit on top of all your current tools and just have a real-time dashboard and report back the health of your pipeline and what state it's in. We're still in alpha, we're still making lots of changes, but it's really interesting. Like I said, it is open source, so if you have any ideas, have any suggestions, or want to get involved, just get involved. It is on GitHub. And then in addition to that, like you mentioned, I have my YouTube channel. I go to a lot of tech events and meet a lot of amazing people, have so many great conversations. So I've really tried to document that. And I went through a phase, I think, the last couple of months where I was doing maybe 3 or 4 videos a week, trying to slow it down a little bit because it's quite time consuming. And I do have a video editor editing the videos for me, which really helps, but still just kind of planning out when you record so much content at an event, planning out how you want the video story to go. It all takes time, and the video editing obviously takes a lot of time as well. But Alona, my video editor, she does an amazing job. I have another video coming out hopefully in a couple of days as well.
How do you have the time to do all that? That's a lot.
I think it's a really good question, and I think I put it down to 2 things. 2 things. One is I have a really good team. So for my YouTube channel, I have a really good team. For my Dashboard Hub team, they are amazing. I let them get on with things and just do what they know best, and try and let them make most decisions themselves. I think they know when they have a question, if they're not sure if they should kind of go down route A or route B, then they'll know when it's a decision they can make or a decision that they think I would. And that works really well. Therefore, I don't have all these kind of unimportant conversations. So the conversations we do have are really valuable. And it kind of ties in a bit to Dashboard Hub, really. That's what I want Dashboard Hub to solve. I want it to remove the unimportant conversations so people can focus on the more important conversations within the team. But yeah, the team and my awesome wife, who just kind of make sure I don't forget to go to friends' weddings, and make sure I don't forget to do other important things, and then the rest of the time allows me to kind of get on and do what I do. And the community, with my project being open source, I get open source contributions, which is great, and even my client projects, the teams that I'm quite selective with the projects that I consult on. And so the team that I usually work with, we usually go from project to project, and they're really good. They really have that balance right, I think, when to really push ahead, maybe sometimes you can put in some extra hours, and when not, and when you don't need to, and when you need to push back to the client and say that's not possible, that's not feasible. So having that balance is really important, having a good team around you. So
getting the right people around you is definitely a key point. Yesterday on the stream, someone asked me about how to be successful on your own, just when you're alone. And I clearly told him that, when you start, you may be on your own, but at some point you need to get people around you. You can't just do everything completely on your own and build an entire company or any project just by yourself. At some point, you need to get other people involved.
Yeah, I completely 110% agree. I think I did I've done 15 years experience, but most of that have been kind of by myself or working with a team, but not a team that I built. And yeah, in the last few years, building my own team and scaling that has allowed me to scale, has allowed me to speak to more people, reach more people, go to more events. And then it snowballs because then by doing that, you then get more work, you get more requests, more inquiries. Then you need to scale again your team more and more. So it's all positive, but it is quite scary. But it's worked really well. I think surrounding yourself with people who can really add value and complement your skills. I really don't get it when people say, "Oh, I wish I had 10 more of me." I'm thinking that is the worst thing you could do. Why would you want 10 more of you? I have, so many gaps in my skills and so forth. I want people that complement me and fill those gaps.
But how do you find those people? Because that's the thing. Sometimes you understand the theory, the fact that yes, you need a diverse team and different type of skills. But I think there are also lots of people who are stuck because they have this set of skills and they don't know who to find or what kind of other skills they should be looking for outside. How do you find those people? Do you just go to events and talk about your skills and what you're looking for in terms of complementary skills, or is there anything else you can do?
Different ways, actually. I don't think there is like a silver bullet. There's one way to do it. But you mentioned events. I think it's really important to go meet people. Hackathons, again, is a similar type of event. I really believe that if you can work with someone well at a hackathon, when you're tired, you're hungry, you're stressed, trying to build like a mini startup in 1 or 2 days. If you can get along with that person in those kind of almost harsh but fun conditions, then in your day-to-day work, you'll be able to work with them so easily and so well and so efficiently. So yeah, definitely events, hackathons, meet people. I was quite lucky in the way I found my team. So some of my team was through friends of a friend, which I think is really important. Definitely tap into your network of people that you trust and then people that they trust. And with other people, I met them at some student events where I went where students kind of came to, and I exhibited my project, and then people came to kind of talk to you, and you can get a good feeling from people. But I think I can't remember who said this, but someone I watched online, I think it was Gary Vee, said, hiring is guessing and firing is knowing. So I think firing's awful. No one likes to get fired. No one wants to fire anyone really, but once you work with someone for a few weeks, you'll really know if they're adding value, taking that stress away from you. Because I can really say that everyone on my team takes so much stress away from me, and I can completely 100% trust them, and they just make my life so much easier. And like I said, I couldn't be where I am today without them. And I know 2020 is going to be even bigger. It's Christmas time now. I'm already getting so many inquiries already, and so many kind of questions all for the new year. So it's really going to be a busy year. It's really exciting, but again, I might have to scale some more. So I'll be reaching into their network, the people that they know. And I did actually find one of my team on Upwork. I know people don't like Upwork. I went through a lot of pain finding the right people. It was quite hard actually, but once I found the right person, then yeah, I don't want to let them go.
So you hired them.
Yeah, I did, absolutely. So hired them more on kind of like a short-term basis, and then it just kind of grew from there. And you think, you know what, this is the right person. Because for me, a lot of it is not necessarily about the skill, because skill can be taught. It's about the attitude. Are they honest? Are they trustworthy? Are they just transparent? As in, I don't need to know all the details, but you can tell if someone's being cagey or if someone's being kind of trying to hide something.
Yes.
And it's just, yeah, I just think it's just so much easier when people are transparent and honest, and that's really important for me. So because skills can be taught, they can teach themselves, you can help them, or they can find help elsewhere. But attitude, I think, is the most important, and I can definitely say, the skills of my team is amazing, but the attitude is their attitude is bulletproof, and that's really important for me.
That's for sure a key point. That brings me to some questions that I receive a lot from people I meet, either at events or online. Lots of people quite often ask about how do you get to choose the languages, the libraries, or the technology that you're going to use to get started. Because we mentioned skills and getting the right people around you, but then it's also about, okay, where do you start in your project, whatever you want to build? How do you get started? And I think it first starts by taking the decision about what kind of tech are you building.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's a question that people always get asked and always ask. And I
Yes.
think it's important not to get excited and carried away. I'm actually going to do a video on this in the next couple of days because I think it's
Oh.
quite interesting. So it's actually it's really good that you asked this question because I've made some notes already. But I think it's important for people not to get carried away by buzzwords or fads in the tech industry. So I think it's important to choose the right technology for what you want to do. So trying to understand what you're trying to build, and are you building a prototype or are you building a production ready tool? And I think it's important not to confuse that because people go, oh, I'll build a prototype really quick and dirty. And then once they kind of get a bit of buzz around it, they go, oh, we must give it to more people. And it's like, well, no, if it's a prototype, it's throwaway. It's just trying to prove which direction you go to, like a spike as you would in an agile sprint. So, if you're doing a prototype, I don't think it really matters too much what technology you use. Just what is quickest, as long as it is a prototype and you are going to throw it away. If you are concerned that eventually parts of it might make it into the final product, then I would try and choose the right technology. So a lot of buzzwords gets thrown around a lot. I mean, the amount of interviews, the amount of hackathons I go to, and people just, throw in the buzzword of this technology they're using, and by saying that, they think they're going to win the hackathon. They think they're going to get the job. I'm thinking, but that's got nothing to do with it. That library might be around today, but might not be tomorrow. But the person will be. So I think it's important choosing the right one. So it's hard. I can't give an answer, say you must use this and you must use this
Yeah.
and must use this, because it depends on what they're trying to build. Is it a prototype? Is it a proper project? I would definitely say don't cut corners on automation, be it the automated testing, any accessibility testing you want to do, penetration and performance stuff, and then also the automated deployments really help. I would definitely say don't cut corners on that, because if you change your technology, you can still keep the end-to-end testing the same. Therefore, if you change the technology or change the library, that the project still works as it should, which I think is really important, because you can't manually test all the different scenarios, all the different paths, all the different happy paths and boundary paths, because you've got to think, if you're logging in, for example, not just can you log in, but if you get the username wrong, the email wrong, the password wrong, does all the right messages come through and so on. So, I mean, if it's a prototype and you've got a limited amount of features, I would say forget the automated testing, but make sure you're limiting to whatever it is, 3 or 4 features, no more. As soon as you start doing more, as soon as you start giving it to more than kind of 10, 20 people, I'd say start again, have the automated testing, automated everything else, because otherwise you just can't scale.
We are going actually to talk a bit more about prototyping versus having an MVP, building your entire MVP, and when you start going to put it in the hand of your end users. We're going to talk about that on Tuesday with Toby Allen, who has been working on product for ages. I'm sure you've met him some days, I can't remember, but I'm sure we organize some events and yeah, I'm sure at some point you've met him, but we're going to
I'm
talk
looking
further
forward
on
to what
that.
will be really interesting. I'll make sure I'll ask some questions.
Sure, yeah, please do, anytime. So you mentioned that potentially you could take some of this initial code if you're doing some prototype and use it into your future product. So how does it work? Is there any good practices or things that you need to avoid doing if you want to avoid like things like spaghetti code or silently introducing bugs to your code early on? How do you do that? Is there anything, I don't know, techniques, tips?
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned 2 things there in terms of the bugs. I'll address that one first. So the automated testing, using something like Cypress is one of the new ones up on the end-to-end testing in the browser. It actually drives the browser, fills in the browser as if it was the user. And you actually can see it. If it fails, it can record a video of what went wrong. And you can even step back through the history to see how it got to there. So it's really nice. And I think that's really important. And then that way, then you could make changes confidently, change libraries, change from a product to production or whatever it is, very, very confidently. And if you make a small change that might affect a few places, you can run the entire test suite and it will test all the places. And you can even mix it with things like something called Cucumber, which allows you to write your tests in English. So you have a statement like given, when, then, and that's all you need. And you can use the word and to extend any of those. So, for example, going back to the login example, I would say, given I am not logged in, or given I'm on the homepage. So that's like kind of the pre-step, like what you want to happen before the test runs. And then you say, when I log in with, and you could put the username and password, and then you have the then, which is, I don't know, then I expect to be on the homepage. Oh, sorry, on the dashboard page or account page or profile page or whatever it is your platform uses. And then you could then have another one, which is very similar, which is, given I'm not logged in and I'm on the homepage, when I log in with an invalid user, then I expect to be on the login page with and have the following error message. So therefore, when you make any changes, these would just run after every change, and you could be confident that you haven't broken anything. So I think that's really good. And by using a great tool like Cypress, and then combining it with another tool called Cucumber, you can have maybe other people in a team write tests for you. Mm-hmm. So you can be a business analyst or the product owner, depending on how big the team is. You can have other people, the designer, the UX, write those tests, because it is literally just in plain English. And then that way you're kind of bridging the gaps between the different skill sets in the team, and everyone feels involved. So I think that's really important. And to address the other item, which was taking not to have spaghetti code, how to move things from prototype to production. So actually, one of my community's Code Mortals gave a talk on this last week, or the week before last, which was kind of pulling out certain parts of your code into libraries that you can reuse in other projects within your company, or open source them potentially to have the community get involved in them. So one way is to pull certain things out into libraries. Like if you've got a brand, like a branding module where it's your brand, right? So it's got your header, your logo, your types of buttons, your colors, your styles, all that. You could pull that out of your project. And there's a couple of benefits of doing that. One is if you've got a future project coming out, you can hit the ground running. You have all the buttons, the links, the cards, all the kind of components, and you can just reuse them really easily straight away. You don't have to worry about redesigning it all again. And if you ever change that library, it will change it in both projects. So you can keep everything aligned. So that's really useful. It allows you to scale more, because you could have a separate team working on that library as well if they want to update things, make it new version. It is versioned, so as soon as they make the change, it doesn't update everywhere. You can have it controlled and bring it into the projects as and when you want. Just make sure you have a split between front end and back end code as well. I think it's really important, not trying to have kind of one piece of code do everything, kind of like the God code or whatever they call it, and you have it separated. Some people do this badly, and I think they go the opposite way, and they try to separate it so much or incorrectly that it becomes spaghetti kind of thrown over the floor, and it's even worse. I mean, I had a project recently, a client got me involved, and I said, okay, we've split the project up. It's in 7 different GitHub repositories, so it's easy to follow. And it was the stupidest thing. Literally had one line in each repository that made it really stupid. So the 5 or 6 lines should have been in one place. So just by separating it doesn't mean it's correct. It depends kind of how you do it. And I think it's important to get someone to review your architecture before you build it, to get another technical person to review it and make sure it makes sense. I think that's really important. That's something we always do. Every piece of work we do, be it coding change, documentation change, test change, it is all reviewed by one other person at least before it kind of goes into the mainline branch.
And it brings us back to the fact that you need to be surrounded by authors. You can't just go and do your thing on your own. Just want to say hi to Venkatesh, who has a question and ask about how to start freelancing as a fresher and the skills to get equipped before starting a startup. So I guess you may ask this from the technical perspective, I'm not sure. So if you can just let us know if you have a technical background or not, because I guess skills to be equipped with when you start a company, it's really broad. I mean, any skills can do. So maybe you're more technical, I'm not sure. But yeah.
Also, I know Venkatesh. He follows me on my stream. He's always and on my YouTube channel. He's always really supportive. So and on Code Mortals as well. So Venkatesh, big shout out to you. Thank you very much for always being supportive. Yeah, he is technical coder, and I mean, freelancing is I think is amazing. If you're really passionate about what you do and you get involved in events and social media, then I think as well as the open source side, then definitely go freelancing once you've maybe got 5 6 years experience. Everyone's different, so I'm just kind of putting a rough number out there. Some people can do it sooner, some people can do it later. So it really depends on each person. But I would say, yeah, go to freelancing because you can up your rate as fast as you want. In that, if you've got demand, you've got clients coming in, and you have to turn them away or make them wait 3 6 months, then start bumping up your rate. You can start being selective on what clients you choose and so forth. I think that works really well. So I know Venkat is really passionate about coding and what he does. So yes, definitely something to look into. In terms of remind me of I'm just looking at YouTube. So how to start as a freelancer? I would say you've got to have a portfolio, but I'm gonna make that a small part of it because a portfolio people can be involved in the project, but they might not have built it. So I would say have a portfolio, but then have other things to back it up, like open source projects on GitHub. Because if it's another technical person or a CTO, they're going to want to look at your technical skills. Do you do best practices like CI, CD, automation? And Venkatesh has heard me talk about this 101 times. So I'm saying this more for other people watching as well. And so yeah, definitely have the open source side, and you've got to have the social media presence. I mean, I'm not saying like Amandine and myself, like every day, do it. I think you've got to have something out there. You've got to have some present, at least once a week post. Obviously, ideally every day. I appreciate it's a lot of work and really hard. At least once a week, so it's 4 times a month. Just try and put something out there related to what you do, so people can find you. So if people, Google you, look you up, you come up on Instagram, Twitter, and all those main platforms. Because if you don't have a presence, and I think people in the day and age get a bit concerned. Like when I'm hiring people for my team, I always look at them on social. It doesn't have to be focused on 100% tech, but it needs to be kind of related a bit to tech, and it's good to see what else they do. I think it's nice to see the human side of people, right, the authentic side. So I think you've got to have a bit of that presence. I think if someone's got no presence, then I don't know, I get a bit worried. I think what they're trying to hide. So have something. It doesn't have to be super private, but I don't know, just occasionally share something. And have an accountant. I know every country is different, but in the UK, I know I'm in sunny Portugal now, where my company in the UK, and most of my clients are. I would have an accountant. It just takes care of one less stress. I think a lot of people think, oh, I can do everything myself. You might be able to do everything yourself, but it's your time becomes really valuable. So you might not get a accountant day one. I recommend people do, but I'm just saying that you might do everything yourself at the beginning, but then you've really got to hand it out. It's good to understand everything, be it design, be it, I'm farming out a lot of my coding now as well. So I know how to do that, but just to scale more, I need to kind of, farm out some of that coding. So I think it's important to know how everything works, so you know if the people are doing a good job or not, rather than just on face value. But yeah, hopefully that addresses some of those questions. So I think you need some of the business side. Try and chat to somebody from your country who's done it before to see what the legal side is. Because an LTD, a limited company in the UK, is really easy and cheap to set up. But the accountancy side, every month, every year needs to be done. Otherwise, the fines are quite big. So I think it's really important to do that. I'm sure every country has a similar sort of thing. I think in France, actually, it's more difficult, right? You've got to have a bit of a nest egg, like a starting amount of money pot. I think for some reason, I don't know if this is right, but 20,000 euros in my mind, you have to start a company. Whereas in the UK, you just need £50, literally like 60 euros, you got your startup. Whereas I think in France, I think they have a good idea. You've got to have something to start a business. You can't just start from nothing.
That's correct. I used to work with startups also in France, and yeah, it is a bit of a more complex system. In the UK, you just go online and you can do everything just in a few minutes. It might take a few days to get all the papers ready, but you know, just doing it, like the registration of the company, is just a few minutes online. In France, it's slightly more complex, and indeed, you need to have money to start the different type of. You have many stages for the company. You have the different type of company you can build, and in the UK too, but in France, it's slightly more complex to navigate into this. And indeed, every country have their own legal rules and not just rules but processes also on how you can do it. But it's not really about having the skills. It's more about getting your hands dirty. I think it's like anything you start that is not something you've already done exactly. You need to learn new things. You need to deep dive into it. And yeah, at some point you need to get your hands dirty and spend some time just focusing on, okay, let's do it step by step. Every time I learn something new, whether it is something technical or something about the legal, accounting, whatever it is, it's not easy, but you have to go there step by step. And it's some people might be specialized in this, but you can also understand a lot of things on your own, like building a company or registering a company. You don't need to use special services for that unless there are specific things that apply to it. But it's okay. But you can learn a lot of things. It's just about diving into it. I was actually looking at all the way to register a company in the UK not long ago, and as soon as you think you understand something, there is something new that appears that makes you doubt what you just learned. But that's normal. Like, that's the same for everyone. It's not a matter of skills, really.
I think you brought up a really good point about step by step in tech when we're learning code or learning technologies. I think every day someone needs to allow 30 minutes to learn something new or take the extra step to go forward, be it in business, be it in hiring. I know that when I was expanding my team in a few months ago, I needed another developer, and I went through Upwork, and I must have done 20 interviews. I was in Dubai at the time, and we're on holiday with the family, and I was doing every morning. I was making sure I was doing interviews, trying to find the right people, and I think it's good to time box it. I mean, it's Christmas season now, or the festive season, and we're doing a live stream talking about it. I think it's I know I will learn a lot from these questions and answers, and you know, chatting with Amandine and everyone watching. I think it's important to always try and allocate regularly, little nothing. It's like brushing your teeth, right? If you miss brushing your teeth once, no one's going to die. Your teeth aren't going to fall out. But if you brush your teeth once a year, then even if you brushed it for an entire day, right, you're there for 12 hours, like brushing your teeth, it's not going to help for missing out for the rest of the year. So I think open source, starting a business, scaling your team, or whatever you want to call it, it's the same, little and often every day. I think it's really important.
You mentioned that you just hired someone new, part of your team, but your startup is still a small startup. So how do you go to recruit technical talents when you are a small team? I had the same kind of discussion or question from a founder this week about hiring more people. How do you attract them when you are a small company? You don't have the same perks or the same visibility as bigger brands. So how do you approach technical talents, and how do you attract them to your startup?
I love that question. That's actually really good. I don't think I've thought about that too much, but I think I've got a good answer. So let me know what you think. So you're right. A big company, Microsoft, Google, Coca-Cola, they have their enormous brand. Everyone knows, you know, who they are. I think being small, you have a huge advantage where you haven't got all that corporate enterprise kind of BS. You can be more flexible. So with me, for example, my entire team has 100% remote, 100% flexible time. I don't dictate their time. They can work how and whenever they want. For me, it's just about adding value. I don't ask them to clock in in and out for their time. I'm not interested at all. And that comes back to the trust side. So I trust them. So I don't worry when they work. Morning, lunchtime, evening, not on a Friday, on a Saturday instead, or whatever they want. For me, it's about adding value and pushing the project and the company forward. So that's a perk that I think I can give that other bigger companies can't. In terms of brand, people can search online and they'll find Dashboard Hub. I don't post a lot via Dashboard Hub unless we go to events, but I do post. But on GitHub, it's very active, so they've got that will come up a lot, and also I will come up because of my personal brand. So me being, I guess, the top of my company, Jaoude Studios, top of Dashboard Hub, that this will filter down. In a lot of the big companies I go to, we're pushing better culture, better best practice from the bottom up. It's a really big effort, and some companies will never change. And that's why with my projects and my companies, I'm really passionate about making sure from the top, it's easy for everyone, lower the barrier to entry, and make sure that it's all coming from the top down. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I'm saying I make sure that I listen to the team, see what works, see what doesn't, and I think it's really important that we have that kind of communication. We used to do monthly retros with the team a lot, see what worked, what didn't. And I really strongly believe in this. We actually stopped doing it not because it wasn't a good idea. I think it's really important to do it, but because we just did it as and when it was needed, and we just kind of iterated on our process, on the tools we use as and when we needed. So I think after having 2 or 3 of these retros, and everyone said, well, I haven't spoken about this, through the month already. We've addressed it, we've got better. We stopped having them. So I wanted to eventually live stream them as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it just happens organically. Everyone in the team, I believe, feels comfortable just to call me out on things, which actually, just to reiterate, is really important. Sometimes my team says, look, Eddie, I'm sorry to chase, but a couple of days ago I asked, I need your answer on this. Do we want to do A or B? I'm like, no, chase, because I do get distracted, I do get busy, and I need people who feel comfortable with saying that wasn't urgent, it can wait a few more days, I'll chase Eddie in a few more days. But if it's urgent now and it's blocking you or decisions you made, then yes, chase me. And I love it how they're just so honest and open and transparent. And I think I'm the same, and they can just be comfortable and say, yeah, or if I come up with an idea, they can say, well, I don't think that's such a good idea, I think we should do it like this. And just okay, it's their area of expertise, unless there's occasion is a real reason why I've chosen that. I know there's something coming up, or there's a client who's going to see it and I want it done in a particular way, but it's very rare. Most of the time I want them to use their creative skills and their experience to improve on my suggestion. I'm more starting the conversation, I think a lot of founders or a lot of managers think their answer is definitive, and it's the end of the line. Like, this is what it must look like when it's finished. I'm actually the opposite, and I've learned this more recently. I want to be at the beginning. I want to start the conversation, start the idea, and then I want the person doing the work or the people doing the work to then use their experience, their skills, and what they're good at improving it and taking it further. And that's one thing I'd want to do. I want to start the conversation, but I don't want to have the last say. I don't believe that's what my position is for. It's more to allow people to work to their advantages. And it kind of drives me up the wall sometimes with my clients when they make a decision. I think, well, that's the wrong, most stupidest decision ever. Yes, we can do that, but it's going to cost you more money. There's going to be less benefit to your users, but for some reason they've got their heart set on it and they want to do it. And this can cost them like hundreds of thousands of pounds, and they still want to do it. And then 6 months later they say, actually, you know what, you were right, let's do this. I'm just thinking, it's your money, but I hate wasting any money because I just think it's really, really bad. So I think that's just, me.
I completely get that. I think I'm also in this situation. I used to say that during interview or else that I'm not worried about opening my mouth and speaking my mind. But that's right. Sometimes that means that you're talking to a client, and well, if they're paying you, I think they're also paying you for your experience and your advice. So there should be this relation. And also I really like the fact that, how you describe your relation with your team. I think it is more about being a leader than a manager, and I think that's so important, especially when you're the founder, when you're the CEO. Your role is not to monitor what others are doing, but more to inspire them to do more. I mean, I think it's Steve Jobs that used to say that you need to hire people who are better than you, and that's completely true. I mean, you're not hiring people to do the job that you're telling them to do. to build a company together. And that made me wonder, how did you go for the composition of your team? Did you decide to hire them because they had complementary skills? Did you play more on the personal aspect and try to build a team that can work well together? What was the approach? Because I don't know how many people you have right now, but I think this question start to come up when you have 5 to 10 people with you.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I'm trying to think how many I have now. I think I have 4 other full time, and then I have up to 3 or 4 more part time as I need to scale certain months, need a bit more or a bit less. So maybe even 5 part time now. I've just added a couple more people. So between 5 and 10 people is what I have, depending on the week or the month, and. For me, I think the attitude is the most important. Like I said, the honesty and transparency and just the openness to just for them to feel comfortable to speak honestly to me. I want them to correct me and them to improve my suggestions. So that's really important. And to have obviously the right skills, but it doesn't have to be perfect. I just need to see how to express it. I need to see that they want to improve their skills. So I interviewed actually one guy about a year ago, and his technical skills were amazing. Seemed like a nice guy. And I didn't hire him in the end because my final question, which I ask more at the beginning rather than wasting their time and my time, was if you looked at your work or your code 3-6 months ago, would you say it's good? Would you like to make any changes to it? Because I know I look at my code like a week ago and I look at it and go, what idiot wrote this? To look at it is me, and I'm thinking, damn it. So I feel that, but I think it's a positive. It feels that I've learned something new since then. Okay, I might not throw it away and rewrite all of it, but I might make some tweaks to it. And going back to the interview, this guy answered, I look back 2-4 years ago and I think, wow, who wrote this? It's amazing. I wouldn't change anything. And I'm thinking, no matter how good you are, he'll be out of date tomorrow. So there's just, the wrong attitude. So it's having the right attitude, knowing that everything can be improved. No matter what we know today, everything can be improved. I interviewed actually another guy about 6 months ago, and again, his open source work was excellent. But when anyone commented on his pull request to make some suggestions, he would F and blind back, saying, well, if you're not happy, you make this change. And it's like, well, no, it's not the right way to do it. You can defend why you've done something a certain way and say, I think it's best because of X, Y, and Z, but you don't attack someone because they're making suggestions. So I think no matter what we believe today is the right answer, probably can have improvements. Actually, not probably, definitely will be able to have improvements tomorrow, either by that same person because they've learned something new, or by somebody else just having a different view and a different context on the issue. So for me, that's the most important, because then that person will learn more, get faster, and I would rather have someone who had, I guess, a year's less experience but had the right attitude, because I know within 1 month they will cover that year, or 3 months they'll accelerate past that year, and that means that in 6 months, a year, they would have raced past everybody else in terms of their technical skills, because they'll onboard other suggestions and they'll welcome those.
You also mentioned open source several times, and I know you're a big advocate for open source technology. So, is there any good practices? You mentioned that answering to some questions or to some people suggesting to change the code in some different ways. You need to be really open-minded to share your code and to be in this open source mindset. Is there any specific good practices, mistakes to avoid, or even things to be aware of when you start being involved either in the open source community or having some code that is out there? Maybe some things to think about in terms of licenses, or some things to think about the difference between how you split between what is code that belongs to you and code that you put out there open source.
Okay, so a few questions in there, so I'll try and remember them. You might have to jump in and remind me. So I talk about open source, and as you said, I'm really passionate about it. And I probably mentioned code when I was talking about open source now. I think one thing that I also really believe is that open source is not just about code. It is about documentation. People are putting recipes on there. governments are putting their legal documents on there, because people then can continually improve it. There's a code of conduct now. I use an open source code of conduct because they're continually improving it by the community all the time. And even licenses now are being themselves being open source, so newer versions can get improved and created all the time. So I open source literally everything of mine, and I encourage my clients to do so. I really don't believe there is any downside to open sourcing something. Someone said something to me once, and it really stuck in my mind, and they said, no one is going to steal your stupid ideas because they've got their own stupid ideas, right? I think Dashboard Hub is amazing, and I hope it does really well financially, and I hope people use it. But other people might look at it and go, well, that's a stupid idea. I'll just log into this platform, I'll log into this platform, and that's solved. And if that's what they want to do, then great. They're not going to be my client, and that's fine. I'm really happy for them. But they also probably have their own ideas. And Dashboard Hub's been open now for a year or two, and people have contributed to it. I feel that I've got all the benefits from it, as in the marketing, the transparency, the improvements, the suggestions, the way to hire people. I hire people who contribute to it because they know the project, I know how they work, I know their attitude. That's what I always recommend to my clients. They all struggle to hire people. And I say, well, if you open source your project, just hire the people who contribute to your project that do it well and have the right attitude, and they already know the project. They can start, there's no onboarding, they can start day one. And yeah, I've had no downside from open sourcing all my projects. My open source book is actually open source. My presentation, so when I give talks at wherever they are, at Google, at Sky, Expedia, and so on, they're coded open source on GitHub. And therefore, if I have got any mistakes, anyone makes any suggestions, I just say, love the suggestion, thank you very much. Please just make a contribution to the slides on GitHub. And I think that just, again, brings everyone closer together, and I think you're more transparent and more authentic, which I think is really important nowadays. In terms of the licensing, I do everything as kind of really permissive licensing, like MIT or GNU. Just people can do what they want with it, right? They can use it in their projects. I'm really happy for them. I know a lot of companies get a bit nervous about this, so there are licenses where they have to any changes, they have to contribute back. But will they do this? Can you enforce this? No. So I just think it's kind of partly pointless. Because no one can access the data, no one can put any bugs in it, because you're going to review everything that comes in. Like, anyone who's watching doesn't understand what open source is. It's a bit like social media. You, rather than putting a picture out there on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, you put your code out there, or your documentation, or your recipe. People can comment, they can like it, they can star it, favorite it, just like social media, but they can take it one step further, and they can contribute back. By that, I mean they can make changes. So if they see an improvement, or they can't follow it along because you've assumed something, which happens all the time, they can make some improvements, add an extra line or a note or a screenshot or something like that. But you have to, as the maintainer, the owner, you have to accept that. So if it's not quite right and you ask them to make a change, they usually make a change, and then you can accept it. Or you don't have to accept it. So you still have full control. They have no access to the data. So there's no security risk from there. I actually really believe it actually increases security, because if someone finds a problem, they're going to usually make an improvement to it, so it gets better and better. I mean, you have Red Hat, a big open source company, got sold for how many billions recently. Google and Microsoft, all doing their projects now open source. Angular, React. There's hundreds of projects that are open source, and it makes them better. Chrome, Firefox, etc. So, yeah, I think there's no downside to do it. So I think people just don't get it, especially the old school people, and they're eventually they're going high up the ranks, and they're eventually going to retire soon. So I think it's going to be very different when the new generation comes through. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some older people who get it, but I don't know. I'm a bit bitter at the moment, having meetings with one client for 9 months, and they've been on board with open source, and all of a sudden at the end, they just go, no, I don't really get it actually. And then you're just like, no, it's like, oh, you're missing a massive opportunity, and they've wasted obviously a lot of money doing this, but it's a real shame, but it's their decision at the end of the day. So yeah, it happens. You win some, you lose some. But yeah, I'm completely transparent with all that. Even our retrospective notes before we even live we didn't live stream them, but before we even thought about live streaming them, we put those open source on GitHub so people could follow along, the retrospective notes, the planning notes, etc. So yeah, but going back one last thing, if companies are really keen on keeping like one part private, and it goes back to what we were discussing about the libraries. So if you break it out into different libraries, you can maybe open source all your libraries, but keep like the crown jewels, like the kind of the glue that ties it all together. You can keep that private. I don't recommend it, but if someone wants to start off that way, let them dip the toe in the water, then later on they can then open source more later on. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, GitHub has a really good licensing option. They explain the short version, kind of the what is it, TLDR, and then you can then, if you want, you can read I only ever read the short version. The massive versions are way too long. So yeah, if someone did a video on licensing, I think they would like clean up, because and I don't want to speak for every techie, but I hate reading. I'd rather watch a video. So if someone did one on that, anyone watching, I'd recommend.
Well, maybe you can do it in the coming months. I know you have lots of videos and you're going to so many events. I'm sure you have many videos lined up already, but could be also a future one for you.
True. I don't think I understand licensing enough to do a video on it. Maybe I can do kind of like an intro, like a short video. But I think there are probably people who know much more than me and could do a better one. But you're right, I do have so many videos. I think I have a queue of like 30 videos still. And I've got so many events coming up in January. I'm even kind of ditching some videos if they weren't, quite great, because I'm spoiled for choice. And so I've got a whole list of talking head videos that I want to do that people have requested and haven't done those. I actually think I've lost recently a lot of subscribers because they came for more the talking head videos rather than the conversational videos. So I'm trying to please both. So my 2020 rule is going to be more to mix it up a bit, not just to have those discussions with people at events, which I think is great and I really enjoy doing. I think are really useful, but also to kind of throw in a few of me talking about kind of what I do or the tech stuff that I recommend, etc. and so forth. So that's what I'm going to be doing this Christmas. Yeah. I'll try and do 3 or 4 and get them out in the next few weeks.
I think the Christmas season is perfect for that, to just think about what you're going to do next year, reflect on how you have been doing things for the past few months and think about the improvement you can make, and also just get things done. Like those days I am working a lot on many things, and I feel that it's a good time of the year because everyone is just traveling around. No one is in London, so you can enjoy the city and at the same time just progress in what you want to do. You don't have calls the entire day or anything. It's really a good timing for that.
That's really true. You're right. It allows us to kind of catch up on things that we've been kind of not putting off we don't want to, but putting off because maybe it's lower priority or no one's screaming about it. And now everyone's busy with the festive season. It's very for us to catch up. That's really true. Because typical day for us, we're getting messages all the time. We're getting kind of reply to emails and so forth and client meetings.
I don't want to take too much of your time. We're getting closer to 12. So before going to lunch, is there anything you want to add to this discussion? Any tips or anything you really want to push further?
Yes, I do actually. To anyone who's watching, if you're in tech or even not in tech, get involved in tech, because tech is for you. It's for everyone. I really believe it is. And the hackathons I have won, and if anyone watching doesn't understand what hackathon is, it's basically kind of like create a mini project, a mini startup in 2 days. And the ones I've won, we've actually had a mixed team of people. If you get 4 or 5 developers on a team, you might build something technically good, but you're not going to win because you haven't thought about the user, you haven't thought about the presentation, you haven't thought about so many other things. So the hackathons that I have won have been where we've had a mixed team of people. So no matter what your background is, get involved. And get involved in open source, just a little bit, just dip your toe in the water, improve someone's English, improve someone's explanation on things. It doesn't have to be a massive coding feature. Open source doesn't care how old you are, what you look like, what your background is, what languages you speak, or anything like that. It just cares that you kind of visit once in a while and once a week, just kind of make a small contribution, be it on your own project or be it on someone else's project. I think it's good to have both, because then you get to experience both sides of the fence. Just being a contributor 100% is not great alone. It's good that you're contributing, and being a maintainer, having your own projects and not contributing to somebody else's, again, is not great. I think you've got to appreciate kind of both sides of the coin, so therefore you can lower the barrier to entry for more people to get involved over and over. So definitely get involved in open source, get involved in tech, go to events. I think it's important to network with people at events. Have those old school business cards and just hand them out with people that you meet, and therefore, because they might forget your name and they might want to look you up. So I think it's important they can go home and look you up again and then get in touch. And I think that's really important. And having a bit of branding out there for your personal branding, a bit about yourself, no matter what it is. Don't pick one platform. Try and have one as your main platform. So for me, it's YouTube. I think for Amandine, it's YouTube and Twitch, I think. But you've got to have the other platforms. You've got to kind of cast your net a bit wider on those other platforms as well and bring them to your main platform. And always reply to comments. I really don't get it when people don't reply to comments on a YouTube video or on a social post. I really don't understand why, because you want that engagement. You want people to feel like welcome. Because if I don't get a reply on somewhere I've posted, then I don't put a comment again in the future, and I kind of lose a bit of interest because I don't feel that they think I'm valuable. Okay, if the reply is nice video or great thumbs up, then I'm not expecting a reply. But if I kind of reiterate something they've said or add some more value to something they've said, then I kind of want them to say yes, good idea, or even no, not a good idea, I disagree, fine, no problem. But just to know that they've kind of read it and so forth. So get involved, follow Amandine on all platforms. I'm hoping Amandine comes to more events with me in 2020 and does some more videos. Last event I went to with Amandine was a long time ago. It was VidCon 2019, and VidCon 2020 is coming up, so I hope to see you there in London. And do some more videos, and that's it really.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Eddie. I'm going to put on the chat the links to your YouTube channel, your two YouTube channels. You have two channels. You have your own personal channel that is just Eddie Jaoude. Not sure if I pronounced your last name right, by the way.
No, you pronounce it the way I kind of tell people to pronounce it. Jaoude is I keep it simple, but you being French would kind of get the full name because of the accent aigus and all the rest, because being Lebanese, it's got a French twist to it. So, yes, but we'll keep it simple for everyone watching now.
And you have a second channel, which is Code Mortal, that you do not just on your own, but with other people. And
yes. Yeah, Code Mortal's channel I have. It's focusing less on events, more on the tech side. And I do that with Andrew Cundiff. And we've just started scaling that up. We had our second event, but our first event at Microsoft Reactor a couple of weeks ago. We've got on the 6th of January our next event at Microsoft Reactor on automated testing, actually, and best practices. So we're going to use Cypress and Cucumber and show people how they can, whatever their project is, be it Angular, React, Java, PHP, you can still use this to test your project from a user's perspective, and how you can automate that on CI. So every change you make, it will run all the tests. And even if your project's mature, you can still start adding value to it now. We're doing that on the 6th of January. So please come along. We will live stream it from Microsoft Reactor as well, and that'll be to the Code Mortals channel. So do subscribe to it as well, so you can get notified.
I like your events. I'm especially a big fan when you interview different type of people in the same room, when you have discussions with recruiters, or when you do the Code Mortal kind of competition or something. I really like that. I think it's very engaging. Anyway, huge thanks, Eddie, for joining me. It was super cool to have the time to discuss something more specific. When you were on the stream a few months ago, we discussed more about your startups and your journey. But here, taking the time to talk more about the tech aspect for startups is super helpful and super useful for many people. So many thanks. And I think Venkatesh was also happy to have some answer to the question. I know it's Christmas time, so not everyone is online, but that's super helpful for everyone. So big thanks, Eddie. I'll let you enjoy Portugal right now. I know that you said the weather wasn't that great, but still, it's holiday time. And
I'm seeing Star Wars tomorrow, so I'm really excited. In 4DX.
Yes, right. I'm going also to watch Star Wars tomorrow, so we can compare notes afterward. Yeah. Thank you, Eddie. Have a fantastic day.
Thank you very much. You too. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks for all the questions.
Okay, that was a super interesting discussion, really. I really like chatting with Eddie. He always has so many so many stories and things to talk about. Like, he has lots of experience with the technical community. I don't know how he can do that. I mean, going to so many events all the time is just, it's just crazy. He said that he does lots of videos and he has lots of video planned, and I can imagine why. I mean, that's a lot, and he's already pushing lots of videos regularly. So check out the two YouTube channels he's managing, the personal YouTube channel and the Code Mortal one. Tomorrow we are going to call someone else. We are going to have another topic and another guest. So tomorrow we'll be talking with Campbell Antworth, who is specialized in the legal aspect. He has experience on the legal side as a lawyer, but also on the investment side. So we can have lots of discussions and questions on this topic. If you have any specific questions for him, let me know. I'm going to be active on social media for the entire day, on my computer for the entire day. So you can send me just a DM on Twitter or on any platform, and I'll make sure to answer. Also, Eddie mentioned something very interesting today. He mentioned several times the importance of being present online and having a presence, being on different platforms. I think it's really key, and it doesn't just apply to people who create content. Creating content today is really broad. You can create videos on YouTube, you can create Medium or articles on many platforms. You can just also post a tweet from time to time and post something on LinkedIn or many platforms you can be active on, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're spending time creating content. You can, because that's really cool and really helps with visibility and sharing your thoughts. But it's also about just being active and on the answering messages also. I think all those platforms are super interesting for the exchange point of view. So you don't want just to be visible and tweeting on your own. I think the interesting part is to be able to get access to anyone and talk to anyone anywhere in the world. If you are interested in a specific area, you can reach out to people specialized in this area wherever they are, and most of the time people reply to you. It's surprising, but people actually do reply if you have a real question. If you connect with someone on LinkedIn and don't add any messages on why you want to connect, don't expect too much answer. But if you're really coming to someone on their favorite platform, wherever they are the most active, and ask really dedicated question or specific things that you want to learn more about, or you have to want feedback, that has lots of chance to get some replies. So it will definitely encourage you to do that. So as I said, today was super interesting, and I hope that the coming days will be as interesting as today. I'm sure it will be. So if you have any questions, feel free to join us anytime. So the stream will always start at 10:30, and from 10:30 to 11 we play some video games. So we test a game for entrepreneurs playing games. So the format that I host about every 2 weeks, where I interview founders. So I spend the morning a few minutes testing the game, and after that we call our guest. So as I said, tomorrow we'll talk about the legal and the investment aspect for startups. So whether you are a founder thinking about building your own project, or just are curious about how things work for startups and for founders on the legal aspect, please do join us. It's not going to be too technical. Like, you don't need to have already a good understanding of how building a company works to join the stream. So feel free to stop by. In the meantime, I'm going to wish you a fantastic weekend. It's still Sunday, so enjoy the day. I hope you're having some time off for the Christmas season. Also check out my YouTube channel, where you can find all my videos from my previous interviews. I'm super active on Twitter. I'm trying to get more active on Twitch, and also to get to the affiliate program on Twitch. So for that, I need to reach 50 followers on Twitch. So if you have an account there, please do follow me there. It will be super helpful. I'm doing this series of streams, so I should have the minimum required amount of streams on the platform, but I really need to reach 50 follow. So check out the different channels, and feel free to reach out anytime. Entrepreneurs Playing Games, as the live interviews with startup founders. We'll come back in January, so I'm right now planning also the agenda. If there are any topics you want to hear from, specific founders you would like me to have, looking that they need to be in the UK. I mean, they have to come to London. They're not going to come to London if they're not necessarily in the UK. But if you have any suggestions, let me know. And I'm always looking to interview different type of founders. So any topics or any interest, anything that interests you, yeah, let me know. Have a fantastic Sunday, everyone, and I'll see you tomorrow, 10:30 on Focus. No focus. I lost the focus. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow, 10:30 on YouTube and Twitch. Bye. Thank you. Have a good day.